Hey everyone, this video is part of this year Halloween doll custom collaboration. Can you believe that? I'm in a collaboration, y'all. This is exciting. The participants in this collaboration are Enchantarium, Blank Space Dolls, The Dolly Geek, My Minimon, Tiamat Creations, Tendence, Hextian, Sky the Golden, Moonlight Jewel, Edge Alley Crafts, Doll's Brand New Look, The Doll Fairy, Popan Atelier, Scariosities, Characters Factory, Delightful, Kira's Workshop, and yours truly. If you happen to come across my video first, though that's not likely, watch the rest, watch them all. Okay, let's start. For the 5th episode of PAINTCULIAR, aka the Halloween special, we're gonna be using Invisibility from Monster High as a base. Cut off his hair, remove his head, take out the remaining hair. Then I'll mark the body parts that I'm going to cut, because we're going to tear him apart and build him back up. I cut off the shoulders, the upper legs, the lower legs, and the toes. Here I'm making the armature for the new arm sockets. Use a small bottle or something to help you shape the wire. Curve the circle, then attach the armature to the body. I shove aluminum foil in the hollow space and then drizzle hot glue all around the armature. Carefully fish out the aluminum foil. Do this to the other side. This provides you a surface so you don't have to build the whole thing with full epoxy. Now cover the addition with epoxy medium. Here I'm using Epoclay. Bulk up the shoulder parts of the arm so they will sit nicely in the new sockets. After the epoxy is cured, test them out. For more explanation about widening the shoulders and making the arms bigger, watch Parody Experiment video. For the upper legs, I hot glue some aluminum foil in place. Then I glue the lower part in an angle so it's slightly bent. They look like this. Now we can apply epoxy on top. I'm gonna add more material to the arms because after all he's an Incubus. I think it's reasonable to make him muscular. We're giving him animal legs, so we're gonna have to build new joints to the lower legs. So bear with me. I got this piece of wood. I don't know what type of wood this is, but it's easy to cut, let's just call it craft wood. And it's 3mm thick. On a plastic sheet, I put 2 pieces of wood like shown there. Then I roll some epoxy in between them, basically copying the thickness of the wood. Let it cure and you got yourself a single plate. I made this template for the joint pieces and I trace it to the plate. Make 6 of them. I cut them out using my rotary tool. Stick one piece on the center of the upper part using some more epoxy. By the way, this Invisibility's lower legs are hard final. It was really annoying to cut. For the lower part, temporarily stick to joint pieces with a piece of wood sandwiched between them using hot glue. It should look like this, and you can ditch the wood now. Make the joint pieces permanent with, well, more epoxy. I put the wood back in there as a spacer. By doing all that, you are safe from the hassle of determining the thickness of the joint pieces. Now you can drill holes for the bolt. Attach the lower part to the upper part and mark where to drill. Make sure everything is aligned. Then you can make the hole. Put the legs together with bolts and nuts and set them tight. Conceal the sides with nuts on them with epoxy. I wonder how many times I've said the word epoxy in this video. Look at them joints. Yeah. I add more epoxy here and there to the upper parts to stop the lower parts from overextending and all. You know, to make the whole thing look more presentable. Do the cosmetic sculpting, you know, build the pecs, abs, and all that. Give him a bigger butt. Not forgetting to sculpt the hooves. The body modification is almost done. Originally I was going to stop here, you know, just to make him a fawn. But then I thought, you know what, let's go overboard. This is Halloween, it's the perfect time to be over the top. So I'm gonna give him wings. I managed to find these small acrylic hinges. I cut one side shorter and then drilled 2 holes on the larger side. I made 2 pairs of hinges like that and then glued them on his back. Make the hinges permanent by applying epoxy all around them. After all the epoxy is cured, we can get to sanding. First, I use rasps. Only use rasps to even out the epoxy. Never use rasps on the actual plastic of the doll. They will ruin it. For the transition between the plastic and the epoxy, and to smooth everything out, I use a rough grain sanding block. Moving on to the head, get rid of the factory paint with acetone. I already attached armature wire for his curly horns. And I fill them out with epoxy. Then I lay out a fresh layer of epoxy on top. Using a wet toothpick, I scour all around the horns to make the ridges. That is all for the epoxy face. I was debating whether or not I want to sculpt him new ears, but nah, I didn't want to do that, I was too lazy. We can airbrush all the pieces now. I already mixed some light gray color. And afterwards, I give the body 4 layers of watered down matte varnish. So my airbrush sucked. I don't know what was wrong, but it didn't spray the paint evenly. The result looks kind of blotchy, but I don't mind it that much. He honestly looks like a gargoyle in this color, but whatever. I'll be giving him rooted goatee, so let's punch the holes now. If you want to give your doll rooted facial hair, punch the holes before you seal the face. Cause if you do that after, it will leave residue that doesn't look good. Now we can seal the face and the body. I used Tamiya Color TS80 twice for the body and then MSC 3 times for the face. Let's do some body blushing. I spray the body again with Tamiya Color TS80 and then draw on the body hair. And add other details, and by other details I mean the nipples. Moving on to the face, let's give it some initial blushing. After another layer of MSC, I do the lips and eyebrows. I make one eyebrow raise to make him look daring and seductive. We can start sketching the face now. Once you got all the features mapped out, you can fill in the real colors. Add the facial hair. Work on a fresh layer of MSC if you want to build up colors. Dot on the highlights and then give it the final layer of MSC. For the hair, I'm going to apply flocking. Root the goatee. After you're done rooting, secure it from the inside with glue. We'll deal with the horns later. Right now, I'm going to show you how the wing is constructed. First, you got this piece that will get attached to the hinge. 2 popsicle sticks. 3 pieces of the shape that I cut out of the craft wood. Put the piece that will get attached to the hinge between the popsicle sticks. Like this. For the 3 pieces, put one on top, put one in between, and then put one under the popsicle sticks. Like this should work. But I'm going to paint all the pieces black and give them a layer of super gloss varnish first. Tighten the nuts to hold the wing in its maximum pose. To fill the wings, I'll be using this thin stretchy black fabric. Glue it one part at a time. Cut off the excess. Here's the complete wing. It's sickening, I love the result. For the tail, I twisted some wire and made the casing out of the same material as the wing filler. Insert the wire to the casing. Sew some stitches that go through the wire loop inside. Stuff the tail with yarn fluff. Don't stuff it fully just yet, leave it about an inch. Drill a hole to the doll's back. Attach the wire to the hole with some epoxy glue. Continue to stuff the tail until it's full. Now we can glue down the opening to the body to close the tail off. It's tricky, but since we use stretchy fabric, it's kind of forgiving. I made these cutouts out of black platter. I glued them to the tail, overlapping one another. I'm obsessed with ridges, okay? They look cool. I made this cone shape for the tip. I decided to glue hair to the lower legs. After that, I trimmed them, along with the goatee. Moving back to the horns, here I'm painting them black. I got the face protected with some cling wrap because I am not having paint splatter on a finished face. No ma'am. I rubbed some silver paint between my fingers, then ran them on the horns. I do the same to the top part of the tail. Then I give the horns a layer of super gloss varnish. I put the doll together off camera because it took a while to do that. For his clothes and accessories, I just made him a loincloth. And 2 cuffs with chains, so it's like he'd been imprisoned but then he broke free. And with that, we call it a doll. Oh man, this doll was a wild ride. It took me a whole month to finish him. When I was working on him, I asked people for feedback, like, does the doll look fine? And everybody, like every single person I asked, hated the blue. I was going to give him black hair, but I've done too many dolls with black hair already, so I was like, you know what, let's try blue. It turned out to be not very good. Well, I guess that's what happens when you don't plan. Will this make me start planning? Absolutely not. Also, I think this is not the best face up I've done because he looks wall-eyed and his eyes are just so wide open, he looks insane. But despite all that, he ends up being one of my favorites because I got to try new things like making the wings and the animal legs. It was a lot of fun. I was basically interpolating the Latful's Aurora to make him. But you know, just because two characters have the same attributes doesn't mean they're the same. I name him Zamauel. Thanks for the name suggestion, Robert. Anyway, like and subscribe if you want to. Don't forget to check out all the other Halloween Dolls videos. See you in the next one. Bye.